Hi there everybody, this is Graham, also known as the Collector75, and welcome back to a Transformers third party review. For this one I am doing the UniqueToys Universe Limited Edition Mania King G02DX and all other kinds of stuff. This is one figure that originally I wasn't going to get, and then I saw some pictures of it and I thought, yeah, do you know what, I'm going to get that. Now this isn't the first figure I had. I had the original version of this figure with the slightly different colours. This being the limited edition, this is the more accurate colour scheme, which I actually wanted. Obviously when I bought the original figure, they didn't say that they were going to be making this figure, so I bought the original one. Obviously all the grey here was white and the purple was a much darker purple. Yeah, and it was a great figure. I did sell it though, and so mainly with the money I got from that I bought this one. Now I do have a couple of issues with this version over the last version. This version seems slightly more looser. The last version was actually really quite a good solid figure. This one just, don't know, it just seems, if let's pretend if I thought it was a knockoff, I could also imagine it was a knockoff. That's the kind of quality that I feel on this figure, which is a shame because the last one just felt so much more solider. But saying that, it's still a great figure. It is obviously Galvatron in his more G1-esque version rather than the crap Hasbro universe where they turn him into a tank. And you cannot fault this, though obviously it does have a couple of faults, funnily enough. The only one being really is how it stands in cannon mode. It just wants to tip forward, unfortunately. It needed some more articulation, or this really. It seems limited here on this joint just up there. It just, if it bent more of a 45-degree angle more, just to allow you to just tilt it upwards. I might see if I can sort that out myself. It looks like that just needs shaving down there maybe, or something in there. Just allow you just to move it. I don't think it's gonna allow me to move it myself, but anyway, but that's all it needed really, because as it is, it's just far too top heavy. And the only other minor quibble is you can sort of see the head sticking out the bottom there. That's slightly annoying, and it's almost literally touching the ground, so you're going to bend up those little horns of his. But other than that, it's still a great figure. Yeah, still miles better than the Hasbro version. Now it does have another addition over the original version of this figure. Now it does have an LED, and you turn that on and this is actually very powerful, as you can see it there. And if you get this in the light, look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. Yeah, it's a pretty cool powerful LED. If you shine that in your eye, Jesus Christ, you're going to be bloody blinded, I'll tell you that now. As you can see, it's like you stand it up and it immediately just wants to fall down. That's the looseness that I mean. It just seems to have that all over it. I don't know why exactly, but it's still a great cannon mode if you can get past those few minor issues. I think it's a great cannon mode. Anyway, right, we're going to try and transform this quickly. Before I do, this is obviously the box. I preferred the box for the original version. This is just your standard normal box. It does come with the instructions and a little collector card, obviously, that it usually comes with for these. Right, so we're going to transform this guy into robot mode now. Let's hope I can do it. I've only transformed this once, and that was into cannon mode, and that was more of a painful experience than I care to admit. We're just going to fold some of these bits up. Get them out of the way. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do first. We're going to open out the arms. These just fold out quite normally like that. I quite enjoy how some of this works and comes together actually. They do peg in, and then you can move those out. There we go. So you sort of move those out, and they do peg in quite well. And I'll tell you something, when you get this guy into robot mode, it is so worth it. This is probably one of the best Galvatron figures I've ever seen actually. I don't actually own too many UniqueToys figures. One of the only other ones being is the version of, oh, what's his name? Abominus, that is out at the moment. Right, so that's that. I think that folds back up into there. Now then, we do have an issue around here somewhere. We've got to try and, this little bit does my head in all the time. We're going to rotate this section up, make sure it passes that, and then we've got to rotate all his head and stuff up. That's it. It always feels like I'm going to break something on this figure. That's it. And there we go. It all comes up into place. It's very, very clever, this. Right, then this just rotates all the way into here, forming his giant shoulder pads. Everything seems to want accordion out and around. There we go. That is the back end of him. Now then, we have our other section here. I think this bit now needs to detach. Let me just make sure. Yes, now then, where does it detach from? I think it's here. Now then, I tried to get this in earlier, and this was an absolute pain in the bloody arse. Oh, hello. Ah, yeah, there we go. Actually came over very much easier than I thought it was going to. As you can see, it's got a little tab section just there. I actually needed to shave down a few little bits just in there just to detach it, because it was never going to hold at all. But anyway, I've done that, and that sorted that out. Anyway, then we rotate these shoulder sections back in. That holds all that section together. Then what we're going to do is we're going to just rotate this down, push this whole section back down, and rotate this up, push them flat, and that is basically him almost done. We'll push the head back into position, and there we go. We've got the top half of Galvatron done there. Now then, all we need to do now is start separating all these bits. Take out this other part of his particle beam cannon. Now this is another area that really annoys me, is you've got to try and then get these leg sections out. It does help if you just open them out and then we rotate it somewhere. I think we've got to just bring that out slightly. Just rotate that around. We're going to do one at a time here. This is going to be the front of the leg. Somehow there's multiple different parts that I've got to rotate. I think that comes around here. Just rotate these in slightly. Rotate that around. Rotate that. Bring the whole foot around. Take out his little heel spur, if you can get it out, that is. Then just collapse his whole legs together like that to form his leg. And as you can see, it's a pretty cool way of doing that, and I really do like it. It's just annoying trying to get it past all these sections, especially this thing. I think my one, it's slightly not broken, but if I'm not careful, it would certainly get there to be breaking. If you see what I mean, look at this pain in the bloody arse. Here we go, rotate that around. And rotate it around. There we go. Rotate that around, rotate his foot around, up, and then just collapse that back in. Just push these sections, these little darker black sections, just in slightly. That allows you to connect the legs up, and then obviously bring his little heel spur out. I don't think there's a tab. If there is, I haven't found it yet. And bring it out, down. Bring these little side sections down. Now then, this one here, I don't know if you can see this. On my one here, you can see the pin isn't quite attached properly. Looks like you can see the pin fairly prominent there, but on this side, there's nothing. I think it needs just pushing through, because actually it just makes it slightly off. You're not really going to see that. But anyway, but on this little joint, push this all the way down, and that forms a little crotch section. Right, and that is basically Galvatron done. Just going to rotate his arms down and around. Just rotate them out once. And then another one just up there at the shoulder. Bring it around. And there is Galvatron in robot mode. And this, it looks great. Oh yeah, also then you just need to reattach this. Just fits in there, and then it will fit onto the port on the side of his arm, giving him his cannon. And it's just a great figure. It's got so much articulation. A great head sculpt on a ball joint. Absolutely brilliant. I'd have preferred, instead of like the really sharp horns, just a more, I don't know, just a normal sort of Galvatron head, but I suppose they're taking it off the cartoon, which I suppose did have horns at one stage or another. You're going to get plenty of articulation in these, and I love the kneecaps, because then when you do that, you can just bring that down. It does look like it's reattached. I think that's a really great addition. It just looks absolutely proper menacing. I do have this on my shelf at the moment in my front room, and I just can't stop looking at it. I think this is just a great, you can pose him all sorts of ways, providing his arms stay together with his cannon. You can do this like that. You can give him all sorts of decent looks. I think he's just a great figure. The colour scheme probably just edges it over the original version on this, especially because obviously now instead of a white cannon, he's got the proper orange cannon, everything like that. It's a nice chrome effect there on that. But all in all, it is a great figure. Definitely worth picking up if you can find one. I got mine off eBay from a Chinese seller, I think. Yeah, I think it's honestly, it's a really great figure. Bit of intricate to transform. Not intricate, it's just a lot of small bits that you've just got to line up just right. Yeah, especially I tell you what, when I was trying to get these legs together to form the front of the cannon, this bit just kept getting in the way, and because it's so tiny, you just feel like sometimes you're going to snap the bastard off. Anyway, it's a great figure. I can't say too much about it. I think it's a great one. Right, okay, this is Graham, the Collector 75. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. Thank you.